Okay, it's time for the second doubleheader of the night. It's time for a little bit of Selfless and a little bit of compLexity. And going into this one, what complexities do we know of facing either of these teams going into it?
I mean, there's a lot of complex issues for both sides, really, so far this season. Selfless only sitting at 1 win. That's kind of paints the picture in itself. Both teams have the common trait of being unorganized, kind of chaotic at times, not really seemingly having an end goal during mid-rounds and so on. So a lot of issues.
Well, let's take a look at this Selfless roster. You're going to notice some names kind of all over the place today, right? So we got ZQK.
Yeah.
In addition, in some right, I do believe a stand-in type. I don't believe it's been formally announced.
Yeah, we don't know yet. He's playing from Brazil.
Right. I mean, already just a little bit strange all around. He had, 170 ping last time
Yeah.
they played? Wild. But Nifty, Caboose, CJ, and Dizzy Wee to his side. And maybe, perhaps, just maybe, they're able to string together enough rounds between the 5 of them to make 16 before the other team.
That is the goal.
Let's take a look at the compLexity side of things. You will notice Slimmy, who was not on the Selfless roster, now trying out for the compLexity roster. So right away, this team is seeing change.
Yeah, seeing change and obviously getting, an old member of the team you're going up against could play into your favor, especially if that was the in-game leader, right? So
exactly.
Not a bad situation for Slimmy to come into. He's going to know what his former teammates likes to do on certain maps, etc. Especially with it being Cbble and Cash that we're seeing today between these two teams, which is kind of like the staple of NA maps so far this season. I think, Slimmy can definitely gain some advantages from that.
Well, Slimmy, like you're saying, having been that in-game leader, definitely able to bring into the picture some of these tendencies, but has it been enough time? I think that will be the true question here in terms of Slimmy going over to the compLexity side.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think it's enough time. It's 24 hours or something since he was announced as a trial at least.
Well, I don't know. Slimmy is a pretty smart man,
Yeah.
and maybe he's figured it out and got it down to a system.
Question is, has he managed to teach it to the 4 others? Because they've been struggling for an entire season, not just 24 hours.
Right.
But I mean, it's
You're
the
not
truth,
wrong.
right? Yeah, exactly.
You're not wrong at all.
The one thing Slimmy can help them with, though, is actually giving them some sort of guidance mid-round, because that's where they've been. Well, there as well have been pretty lost so far.
So we've said that Cash will be the second map. This first map, though, will be Cbble.
Yeah.
And right away, we're looking at 2 teams of pretty close to equal caliber. What is there to expect from either side?
Well, hopefully some sort of coordination, because that's we haven't seen too much of it as of late. I think I'm expecting more from compLexity side. They've had a good run outside of EPL and their other games, so hoping to see some improvement from them.
Okay, well, I think it's that time where we throw it to Eric de Beer Stromberg, who is standing by with a little bit of Selfless as Cbble.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back to Stromberg Strategies. We're going to take a look at Team Selfless on Cbble as we take a look at a nice hero play by Caboose. They're going to take a B hit. They're down 13-5 against Renegades. Caboose, he's going to hop out. Look at him. He waits for his team flash. Boom. Blind. Nice flash. Nice kills. Good movement. I like how he looks down there. Please check that spot. I hate when people get so many kills from that spot. Should only be 1 kill at most. Okay. So now it's a 3-1 situation. They win the round. Good play. Good play. All right. Now this round, okay, if you pause it right here, okay, Opper. We know there's Opper Coop. Slimmy would probably call it, hey, Opper Coop. Cool. Okay. Look at the guns. Look at the utility on Team Renegades. You got pistols. You got a submachine gun. You got 1 flash and an op. Okay. So in a 3-on-3 situation or a 3-on-4 situation, I'm Selfless. I got smoke. I got 2 smokes. I got 3 Molotovs. I have 3 flashes, okay? There's a lot of things we can do, okay? We could smoke this area. We could Molotov off the wall so it bounces right in here. He has to fall back or he's going to burn alive, all right? Simple as that, all right? Let's see what happens. And Caboose, he's like, no, I don't need nades. I'm just going to die. Okay, let's just die. Okay, so DSR, he gets the kill. 2-on-1. Great. We still have 2 Molotovs, 2-on-1 situation. There's you can plant the bomb, you can sit back. But the point being is, 2-on-1 situation, you do not push, okay? You do not push. You just stay back. You don't push. Let them come to you. It's hard to watch. I'm sorry, Ryu. I love you, but this hurts me. This hurts me on a fundamental level. I'm done.
I mean, I guess.
Thanks.
Yeah. Eric just left the building, I guess.
I guess so.
Are you
I mean,
new,
these
Eric?
look better on me anyway, right?
That is true. I mean, you do wear them well.
I do wear them well. I see the whole world in a totally different light right now.
Yeah, the lack of blue, right?
I think that is exactly how it works. Now that I can see the game much clearer and much better, going into Cbble, are we going to have a good matchup, or is this going to be a one-sided affair because one team is totally at the disadvantage because their in-game leader has left them and went to join the other team?
I think the case where the team that has their in-game leader, no longer there, standing with 200 ping, might have a bit of an issue going into, especially with what Eric just showed, right? Definitely some issues going on in how to actually use their utilities and whatnot, which is a massive part of Cbble.
Well, if Eric is frustrated, I can only imagine how these guys are going into this one. But standing by to deliver this to us will be Blue and Dazed. Surprise, surprise.
It's going to be back to Cbble as well here. So once again, it is going to be myself and www.youtube.com/GoDays bringing the action. He's got it right down there. So just for everyone to see now.
So what do the Gunners do?
Okay, so I used to have a pair because I used to get like chronic headaches. So it filters out like the blue spectrum from computer monitors, which is apparently like the harmful light.
Yeah, a lack of blue, like Stunna said. That's a world I don't want to live in, though, man. A world I don't want to live in.
Well, we are live immediately into the game here. And to give some clarity, because actually, I think I got some answers from Ryan the other day, actually, on the whole ZQK situation. He is currently a trial IGL for them. That's why they haven't relocated him to the States yet. And he is indeed playing from Brazil. So that would explain the 150 ping that you're currently seeing right now. But he is trying to IGL for them. And if it works out, I'm imagining they'll relocate him here. And if not, well, feels bad. But compLexity off to a good start already here in the pistol round, eliminating both CJ and Dizzy and dinking Nifty, bringing him down to 3 HP. So he's got to be very careful with how he plays on the steps here. compLexity, after getting those kills, they put the brakes on for a second over here on the broken wall approach. They're just kind of hiding back and running the time a bit, and then I imagine they'll re-aggress in a moment. Moment seems to be coming now after they've deployed the smoke over across the way, and Def being the one to push against it. Nifty again, trying to see if he can edge under the headshots. He gets one, looking for more here as he plays to the angle, and it's actually working out okay currently. But Def sitting back does trade that when Nifty over-aggresses. However, in the process of that, he also spots the fact they did fall back. But Def is now going to go in towards drop. We'll be able to cut the split between the two remaining Selfless players here as he creeps into it. ZQK with a nice shot, however, though, finds Android just at a very tiny angle from below the balcony. And now Def is actually going to be surrounded, but Def's actually pretty smart. He falls back, gets himself, into a position where he can take them both on without having to look in two directions. Still gets knocked down, unfortunately. And now this is even, down to a 2v2. And the bottom only just now went onto the ground. So there's plenty of time for the retake, but when push comes to shove, Slemmy and Surreal do shut it down, and compLexity win the pistol.
Yeah, I think this has got to be the two teams with the most roster changes throughout this season, right? Now we're seeing DSR's out, Dizzy's in, I guess.
DSR's been in and out like 4 or 5 different times over the past week.
I mean, both these teams have had, Desi, Slemmy, Ape. Slemmy was just on Selfless, I swear, like 2 weeks ago.
He was, yeah. And Dizzy also was out from being the, like as of this last weekend, he wasn't the stand anymore, but because DSR's availability and because of like some IRL stuff became pretty shaky, he's now the stand-in, and Dizzy's back to being the current like full-time stand-in. It's very confusing right now, but I think they are back to like 3 or 4 full-time members at this point, so they're slowly going to get stabilized. Bit of action there at A-Long, though, with Def finding Nifty and then ZQK trading it back on to Def. Puts us into another 4v4. Scratch that. 3v3 as Dizzy and Slemmy also trade some blows there with the elimination of Desi for the T side, and then trading it back onto Dizzy now. As compLexity are going to try to push their way through the mid-connector and over onto that A-bomb site with the remaining players and Selfless being rather split up currently. And the problem for Selfless here is going to be the fact that ZQK is held pretty far back. So he is going to spot the fact that this is pushing in pretty late. The good news, though, is that CJ has wrapped back in. He's going to be able to find Android through the door. Heavy cost to his own HP, with Surreal already being low at 19. It's going to be a bit rough for compLexity to actually cleanly close out upon this match now with the 2 remaining players they do have left standing. Slemmy is the one that's kind of pushing forward to clear things out for them. Flashbang from ZQK, but he saw it coming from a mile away. And now Surreal has given away his position too, but it's a pretty safe bet that he can hold that. And they choose not to challenge that since it's up and against an AK here. Slemmy just holding, tagging these players down one by one. They're basically both one-shottable at this point. And now they've eliminated CJ. It's all on Caboose. He's got a 1v2 set against him. He did retrieve an AK, so in theory, I mean, considering everything that's gone up against him at this point, if we wanted to try and save that, that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. But still waiting very patiently for a peek out from that site. So at the very least, you could try to isolate this to a 1v1, but he will never get it. And now he is making the economic decision to fall back and just save the AK, letting compLexity get their second round on the board.
Yeah, Slimmy played that very well when he went to the site in that 2v2, and that's, you know, you could hear when you sell Pop Flash now. I don't want to take full credit for that, Blue, but I did make the video exposing that, saying how there was an inconsistency with when you can hear it and when you can't hear it, and then the devs made it so that anytime you sell Flash, you can hear it. You can hear a tiny little cue, and we saw that come into play. ZQK threw it, Slimmy heard it, and he turned. On Twitter, I've been, you know, MBK tweeted the devs saying that it takes away skill in the game, not being able to sell Pop Flash for yourself. And then MSL was talking to him, as we're just going to see an anti-eco rush in drop. But just to finish real quick, MSL was saying, no, you shouldn't be able to sell Pop Flash. I agree with MSL on this. I don't think you should be able to sell Pop Flash without sounds. I think if you want to flash for somebody, it should come from your teammate. I think that makes more teamwork, better communication, and hires the skill ceiling as a whole when it comes to a team, not necessarily individualistic plays, like being able to sell. I don't think you should be able to sell Pop Flash for yourself whenever you want without being hurt. I just don't. I think it's... And it wasn't as intended. CSGO devs did not mean to do it like that. It was just a bug.
Well, Selfless now still trying to hold and very patiently waiting on that B-bomb setup. There's a lot of pressure kicked up to the edges of drop and over there out on the broken wall. Def in the meantime lurking his way up to the A site. We'll find himself a contest versus Nifty in a second. Takes him a moment, but he gets the kill. Caboose being able to trade again, has the AK in hand, but that's going to be short-lived. Slemmy's able to trade that out. And now it's just USPs and a P250, so maybe a few more trades here and there, but ultimately the round should go into the favor of compLexity in a second here.
I mean, I'm best friends with the developers, so...
How are you?
Obviously, right?
You guys are hanging out a lot on the
Pals,
weekends. Yeah. Going to visit the shore house. To go on that, yearly Hawaiian retreat with them, too.
Of course, man. No, but compLexity starting out well. 3-0. Pretty decent economy. Not many losses on that third round there. And now Nifty busts out the op for Selfless. ZQK just on a mag 7, so we'll see where he positions there. He goes up close at long A, so that's becoming more and more common.
Yeah, I'm just slowly waiting for Slimmy to actually try and go for the peak here. At the moment, he is cautious of there to be aggression from the Selfless side pushing out, however, so he's chosen not to push into it right now. His teammate kind of clearing out further in from the top side. And Nifty, after not really spotting anything, just decides to smoke it out. The Android, though, strikes first against CJ over towards drop there. And makes the entry. He doesn't even fully commit for that. Now, obviously, Dink down to 5 HP in response to it, so he's kind of going to have to play a little bit more passively for the rest of the round. So Def will be the one that moves in and takes control. The first start off, and Android will kind of just be supporting him from the backside. But Selfless, again, not wavering yet here, not really going to be rotating in or out of either of the bomb sites as a response to that frag. They're still sitting back nice and patiently. Caboose tried to swing up, but a lot of pressure coming out from flashbangs, and it does force him back down to the edge of broken wall. Still does okay, though, and it's not just him either. Dizzy also working with him to pick up multiple frags and pushing out towards broken wall. Android getting one more before Dizzy trades on a Surreal there and puts it right back into pretty much full control here for Selfless. A pretty good hold. They didn't over-rotate off of anything, which actually could have came back to bite them pretty heavily, but now Android's just actually going to sneak through here, try to see if he can catch Nifty or anybody else right behind the pizza boost up box. That won't work out. So, well, he can kind of escape and run away with the AK. He's definitely not going to be able to win the round, and it's going to be Selfless getting themselves on the board here.
Yeah, and if they end the round with 3 alive, that's very good for them. compLexity will still buy on this upcoming round, but Desi kind of running out pretty much solo there, trying to catch the player. I don't necessarily think it was a bad player or anything, but gets punished, and they're only able to get the 2 kills. Android gets 1, and then he gets another one with like 3 HP. So.
Yeah, and you can see the great side hold here right at the start. They pretty much killed the hit from the beginning of it. I thought Caboose was going to go down actually at the start due to him being repositioned, but he was able to hold pretty well on the outside in this follow-up.
They had a flash. That would have worked out perfectly for Desi, but obviously that doesn't come. And then that kill happens. They're all looking towards Caboose and then Dizzy up above. Missed shot by Nifty. Definitely should have been a kill. I'm wondering why ZQK is still on that mag 7.
We're going to be working with that up close, however, over here at A-Long, where it could yield some results. And in fact, there you go. Picking up 1 and 2. Easy money for ZQK. And just to be safe, mollying off the retreat so that they can safely fall back over to the site. Didn't even trade out the gun either. There was, 2 AKs sitting there, but he didn't want to take the risk on there being a third guy swung out.
Do you remember last season when Zeus would just be like the team Mag 7er? He would just use a Mag 7 every round on this map. Like all 15 rounds.
That's when everybody was going like Mag 7 crazy on this map. Like you see people purposefully pick up like 2 or 3 Mag 7s on some rounds. But it's all gone quiet now after ZQK does find those 2 kills, and compLexity pretty much come to a halt. They don't really seem to have a makeup plan for this, as they're all just spread out across the map. Looks like it's going to be some sort of attempt to put together a drop split towards A, but Android would have just been heard by CG, so they know there's presence there. They have aggressive positions on broken wall platforms, so they know that there's no presence working its way into there anytime soon. On Android, he'll molly out so that he can try to push CJ back a little bit. It does lead, however, into CJ safely getting out of there and being in a position to try and counter out. In the meantime, though, Def, with him finding a kill on a ZQK, it is going to distract CJ a little bit as he swings himself up to the balcony instead. Nifty working with CJ. They pick up 1 kill there. Android and Desi able to trade it back, but Nifty, nicely done on the movement from him, completely flanks back around towards Desi, and it now leaves Android alone in a 1v2. And as he goes out, Nifty's ready to pick up a 3rd kill from the back on the middle of the ramp there, takes down Android and finishes off the round for Selfless. Yeah,
Nifty just doing work. Chaotic situation around the APC, gets those 2 kills, falls back towards mid. Android, but yeah, ZQK. Nice work with the Mag 7.
So now, compLexity
Maybe that's the key, man. You have 160 ping, you just Mag 7. Why use anything else?
The easy shots.
Yep.
And he's not even just dedicating himself to A-Long. Actually, no, he is pushing being the constant A-Long player from the looks of things, too. So really only playing it in that avenue, which means compLexity, for the most part, are probably going to be avoiding that for some time. On this run, though, just pretty much full eco from them. A couple upgraded pistols with armor behind it on Android and Def, but the other 3 are going to be going for P250 pickups. And we can see Def trying to aggress over here towards drop early on, but only will get inside. CJ sits on the outer of the window. And they do have Dizzy kind of looking up right now to try to flash stuff out. But CJ just confirmed with the push from Android here, and he probably saw Def as well peeking towards him. So they are going to know that there is presence. Still working its way in towards drop here and focus all their efforts on just holding that back. As literally everyone from compLexity has almost fully committed to the drop down on drop itself here. So CJ with 1, 2, and 3 more. They all just walk right into him there. And it's nice, a few easy pickups from him. The ace will be denied by Dizzy, but actually, it's actually logical to allow Dizzy to get that kill since he was a little bit low, and they are still trying to build up their economy on that CT side.
Yeah, and after that pistol round, the first 3 they pick up, Selfless has just been like a brick wall. Wins these next 3, ties it up. They have a pretty decent economy as well.
And it's kept us even here, but obviously compLexity, after that first full save, will be able to go right back into it with another buy. With some trade-offs, as you may have seen here. And now, they changed the situation a little bit. ZQK just spraying out with that Mag 7 there in the doorway. Not catching a whole lot, except for a couple bullets thrown back at him by Def. The up push at A-Long there, too, from Nifty doesn't really work out too great. He also takes some damage, but he is able to convert onto a kill, actually, when he goes back downstairs, finds Slemmy, and I believe that may have been through a smoke, knocking him down.
Yeah, I think he went to danger and kind of looked up above the smoke.
So he's able to eliminate 1 from Cole, and may be able to find some more here, too, as Cole getting up to the edge of it. Def peeks right into that one. He'll end up going down. The Molotov blocking off anyone else from pushing back in, and even if they do decide to follow through, well, ZQK is now in the position behind the hay bales here, so it's going to be a trap to try and get Surreal to push directly into it, and there you go, as ZQK once again finding impact. He finally trades it out for another weapon as he goes for the AK pickup, and Desi and Android just trying to work for a recovery here, but they have no advantage to work off of. No, players are even remotely low. They've got a couple Molotovs to try and block off the A site in positions that they would normally be trying to hide out at, but that's about it, and they're even still detached too. Android is working on his own to try and push out towards B, and as he does go for that, Caboose will expose himself in the boost up position and just take him down as he's already distracted by the player on statue.
And Cole, 4 rounds in a row that they've lost, and this A site is just like, they can't even come close. I mean, they can't push off ZQK. Mag 70 close. Usually what people do is they throw a deep flash, like bouncing off the wall, and then they jump throw a flash that hits the lantern and comes back, and that kind of helps a lot because a lot of the time they molly before that at the right side, right, at the hay barrels. But Cole just peeks. They just peek to try to take control along A.
Well, we do have Cole now back onto another eco here, and they are not pushing out towards long A this time around. Most of their players just hanging back into the B halls here and trying to set up for a pretty straightforward hit in that site. Def just watching for flanks, I think, on the other side of the map. And Caboose being the point player here that's going to be able to try and spot a lot of this aggression out onto the platform. But obviously some delay as Selfless, excuse me, as compLexity are looking to try and set that up. But already one player being found, and that was the lurker over towards A, Def. Eliminating him. Dizzy feels the need to go aggressive here, pushes himself up, works with Caboose, as he will actually be able to convert not 2, but actually 3 kills at the end there. And they completely destroy the compLexity hit with a huge pile of corpses, you can see, right at the edge of the B halls.
Yeah, that was sick. I think, where did they throw that Molotov, though, is what I wanted to know. I don't think they threw it from, like, you know, the stairs or anything. I think they threw it from above, or, you know, like, around the rock or drop or whatever, and then they flashed, and then both of them peeked. I think that's what they did. I would like to see that again, though, to see where they threw those nades from to get them to push, because that seemed pretty clever.
Well, we get into another gun round here, and we'll have to see if compLexity will kick it up a notch at all in terms of their aggression. Keeping Def in position to try and push from the A side if necessary here, or at the very least keel off the aggression from the Selfless players, as they've been very active now at peeking those mid doors in the connector, as along with getting aggressive positions to the edge of A long. But now Molotovs and flashbangs move in as compLexity, I mean, still going straight forward with drop control every single time, and Selfless has never had to actually actively contest it. Every time they have, those 1 or 2 occasions, it's actually worked out to allow for compLexity to pick up the rounds. But now that Selfless has gone back to playing it a lot more passively, and CJ kind of playing on the outside of it, they've almost been able to hold control of it every single time and pretty much deny compLexity any exit route onto either the B or the A side if they wanted to try and split. You can see again, getting below the 1 minute mark, the compLexity, I would say in the next somewhere between 10 to 20 seconds here, are going to have to make a move to actually move out onto the site and start taking some control. But for the most part, Selfless will already be in position to counter this out. 3 in the site. You already have Nifty has fallen back through the A doorway and will be able to rotate, 5 to 10 seconds max timing. And pretty much the same is true for ZQK as well, as he's only sitting behind the APC on the other site. But Surreal finds that first frag there, and now maybe they have a chance to get back in. This is the first time they've gotten a first frag that wasn't immediately converted. Caboose close up to Broken is in an incredibly overexposed position, so that's pretty much one and done for him. And now Nifty and ZQK both do get pushed back behind the doorway. You can see them trying to boost Nifty up on top, but he missed his opportunity. There was a player peeked out to the right just moments ago, and now the nade will finish off Nifty, knock out half the HP from ZQK, and he will have no choice really but to fall back and let compLexity pick up the round.
So he's going to try to salvage this up, but the B defense collapsing there. I mean, when Caboose was kind of out in the open, he was kind of forced to because they got down drop and they're coming out B at the same time. There's really no other place to play because he was the guy playing close to B. But just clean take by compLexity. That's what they needed. They needed that round, and they needed to live with like a few alive because they lose this next round. If they do, they want to still be able to buy the upcoming round, or else you'd be looking at just a huge half coming out from Selfless.
Again, the boost up that gets destroyed here by the nade that I'm sure you'll see flying in a moment. We'll get the nice replay on that one. There it goes. Just knocking Nifty away and killing any chance that they had there of really even doing good economical damage at the end of the round. So it's going to be compLexity winning things out there. Obviously, Selfless still having a decent amount of cash. That, if I remember correctly, was a full 5-round run from them. So they were able to build up a decent amount to work off of, obviously, and still keeping an additional player alive towards the end of it. Now Nifty counter boosted, but nades again will chunk them on this boost up attempt right here. Nifty still waits on it, however, and even pushes past it. Try and catch players early on, and nade won't get one. Has to be careful falling back behind that Molotov, but he does get out of there while only losing an additional like 20 HP.
I mean, he's made it 4v5 like 3 rounds now, I think. So Nifty's just MVP of Selfless right now. He's playing great.
The rest of Selfless in the meantime still evenly split across the map, while compLexity are going to form up here over towards A, with most of them pushing into the mid connector. Def obviously has pushed himself all the way up there and has noticed that There hasn't been a whole lot of defense situated. That is because Selfless have chosen to play things to the site, however, with Nifty now rotating in and waiting for this one, and also having ZQK available, again, close up to the wall to assist if need be. Very, very quiet from compLexity, as has been the play from them on most of these rounds so far. Not wanting to give it away unless absolutely necessary, and using smokes to try and cover things off before they actually fully commit. Well, in they will go now, with flashbangs giving away the position for Nifty. A beautiful shot indeed, but Android does trade. It's ZQK that battles back and he tries to escape.
So lucky.
Dizzy comes in to bail him out and also finish off the round as he eliminates both Slemmy and Def with a quick leap out from the balcony.
Yeah, ZQK doesn't need to take the chance to run into mid there. He should just go turtle up close to the wall, you know, and they can't see him. And then that way he's still like in a crossfire position with his teammate. He doesn't need to do that. The rotate came fast enough so that he didn't get punished and actually helped his team. But in general, like, you know, you just want to hide in that little cubby, and you'll be fine.
So coming into the next round here, compLexity once again forcing into it this time, as we do see Nifty missing a shot for the first time in a while there. It gives Android the ability to push back in, trade him back out, and now they're going to go full throttle in this site here, as he was the only one situated to try and defend it. CJ's gone down. ZQK's been flashed back out, so he smokes the opposite side of the APC here to try to give him a little bit more room to work with, and hoping really that they won't push past that. For whatever reason, though, it's caused a complete halt on the compLexity side. They're all frozen behind the wall at the top of the ramp here. As they pick up another kill, this should give them the confidence to try and push back, but no, again, they're being called back. They're going to head over here inside of the mid connector once more, where Caboose is waiting, but they're paying attention to that. They took down ZQK. Caboose swinging back in. Nicely done through the door as well. Combos two together, and considering where that round was headed, it's good that they pick up at least those 2 kills to try and keep some good damage rolling against compLexity's money overall here.
Yeah, definitely, and this is going to be a big round. Both teams are going to be pretty fully bought. Let's see how much money Selfless will have left over. Cole barely has any, just 1,300, 1,300, 3,900 left over. So this is going to be a pretty important round as they're trading rounds. 1T, 1CT, 1T.
compLexity again very straightforward here on the openers, mauling, nading things off on the approach to try and send Dizzy, or really anyone else that would be positioned here on the top of the platform, back to give them the room to quickly initiate if they should so choose. ZQK
They should have had an opening, but they didn't go.
And now they've been smoked off here after some delay. Caboose getting flashed, though, is still able to connect about a third of it, actually a little more than almost half the HP off of Def there. Bring him down to 56 HP, and that completely sends compLexity back. Another smoke in just to reapply things there on the Broken Wall, and Nifty finding Android early on. So we're right back to where we started for compLexity after they had a perfect opportunity to execute on DeV.
Again, 4v5. I think that was from the drop room, and I don't even think he was boosted up. So opping in the drop room, not very expected by NET, definitely. Surreal going to try to retake drop or platform control. And that was actually good by Dizzy. Just him shooting at the stairs and running away sets Caboose up for success right now, especially if he takes first contact when they come out of B.
And again, now with time getting very low, under 40 seconds now for Cole to take control of the site. The molly not bouncing back. Caboose remaining completely still here as they are getting ready to push back out. He is going to take the initial contact here, but it's Dizzy that gets the first kill. Now all the distractions on him, but oh! Swing out to the right, gets the instant headshot before he finally goes down to Slemmy. Nicely played, and CJ up close working with Dizzy. They shut it down once again as compLexity just can't get past that platform.
Yeah, I mean, they had the triangle set up, right? And I've told you about that before. Anytime you can get a triangle like that, usually Crush takes. He's behind the box, he had CJ to his left, and then he had a guy at Statue. They're coming out. Caboose waits until they're about out. He starts peeking. He, you know, 3 guys are shooting at that guy. He has to just, unless he has a spin bot, they're going to lose that round, right? And then he could just hide behind that box. And what can you do if you're compLexity? If you go forward, I mean, it's like an impossible situation if you're a T. So it was very well played by Selfless and great positioning by them. And that was a very pivotal round, really important round. Selfless is going to have compLexity really low economy right now. We'll see if they choose to buy or not. But yeah, that was you know, crushing, you know, resetting compLexity's economy. Now they're just going to have pistols with 1 AK.
And they did choose to pause right there as well, in case anyone was wondering what the source of that was. It was a compLexity tactical timeout. So taking a moment there to try and put things together. We'll see if the execution follows through onto this next force-up round from them, as they're going, once again, pretty quickly out towards the Broken Wall early on here. Flashbang, however, is going to let Nifty go back up, but the smoke gets in his way too much, and he's not able to connect the initial shot. As it takes the almost, I think that's just
75 damage or so.
So Desi and Android both getting hit up by that one. No kills just yet, but more smokes. Plenty of Molotovs still to be used over on the Selfless side, along with smokes that they can once again continue to reapply over here on the platform approach. But Caboose now boosted on top of the box, trying to see if you could utilize anything from up on top to see over the smoke, but nothing to be seen currently, as it's too well covered off. That's going to be fading pretty shortly here, however, and immediately capitalizes upon it by knocking out Android. Down he goes. They do try to play close up in the drop room too, but Def is able to get the better of CJ in that situation here. Smoke a little bit too deep. Actually, I can't really see it, unfortunately, from that perspective, but yeah, it actually does cover them off, so excuse me. The guys from Cole will be held back here by a couple of extra seconds. Desi, however, and the others flash out, and they are going to push past it, as they need to swing in for some control here and try to battle it out before those reinforcements arrive, but still too late. Caboose picking up 2 before he goes down over on the platform. ZQK getting another shotgun kill there as well, taking down Desi, and it's just another round for Selfless as they push past 8 rounds now.
Caboose is just playing great over at B. I mean, guys just stopping anything that compLexity can get going over there, and then Nifty just consistently make it 4v5. Yeah, Selfless is playing pretty well right now. ZQK just max 7 in whenever they try to go long A. Look, he's there again.
It's actually like, it's probably like one of the most consistent max 7
Just wait
performances
here
I've
every
ever
round.
seen.
They don't know how to stop it.
He like almost never whiffs the shots either. Maybe it's just
Is
like...
it the perfect strat, Blue?
I don't know. Is it the perfect gun to use when you're on 150 ping? That's the other question.
ZQK, the greatest max 7er of all time? Keep watching.
To be seen. Well, it worked at the very least. ZQK's own pressure to force them into a funnel here in the mid-connector. CJ does get knocked out by Android, since unfortunately ZQK was unable to hold farther up control there. So one trade does come in from him, but oh, Caboose.
Caboose, the 4K.
Beautiful spray transfer there at the very end, and he just destroys any chance of himself getting overwhelmed by that massive push of players at the very end of the round.
And they were just so disconnected. I mean, they had a chance. When that first guy came out, if they would have been a little bit closer to him, they probably would have killed him, but instead that guy comes out, he kills him, and then the other 3 start coming out, or the other 2.
Well, round 15. Let's take a look and see if compLexity can battle it back and try to make this closer. Selfless is going to hold a massive advantage, which could turn into a huge advantage with the pistol victory into the second half. Cole wasting no time on this round, however, immediately out past the broken wall and over to the steps. A 1-for-1 trade starts us off, but Surreal taking heavy damage on his trade. Down at 8 HP afterwards, and it's not just him either. Desi was also brought down to 40. So with Dizzy already playing close up, they did boost Def up on top of the box over here, and he'll be able to execute one more player, giving them a slight advantage. Dizzy spraying into him a little bit here too, knocking out about half of his own HP, really trying to go hunting for a kill, and he does find one. That's the first pickup there. He spots another player, but the aim is off, unfortunately, and Def is still a problem. We're up on top of this boost up here. ZQK finding the frag now with the auto sniper, however, brings it under the arms of Desi to clutch, and he doesn't have any further utility to hold back Selfless. They're free to push directly back in. They may not know where he's playing from just yet, however, but immediately Nifty gets the quick scope to shut it down against Desi, and it will be a 10th round for Selfless. So they start off a little bit slow here, but I believe they make almost a flawless run at the end of the half here, giving them a massive 10-5 lead. We'll see if compLexity have anything better to offer us on their CT side in just a moment. Once again, stick around for more action in the ESL Pro League.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, PaySafeCard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
back again, ladies and gentlemen, with a closer match here in our second matchup of the night. It's between compLexity and Selfless. Well, it is compLexity that started off well here at the beginning of the first half, but then really dropped the ball and let Selfless kind of take full control of things. So it's now them that hold a 10-5 advantage as we get into the second half on Cobblestone.
Self looking for that elusive second dub of the season.
Are they really only still in one?
I think they're 1-13 right now. That's what the standing says.
Whew. It's a rough season for them, man.
Blue, hypothetical.
Okay.
You cloned 4 different times, 5 blues.
Okay.
How many rounds do you get against Selfless?
Like 3.
3?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Okay.
Being honest about it, I'm not going to try to throw any unnecessary shade out there, you know?
I'm just curious.
Well,
What would be like your greatest team strength with 5 blues?
communication.
Communication, yeah. Communication would be pretty good.
A lot of very loud position calling every time we die.
It would.
Problem is we just can't trade or anything like that, so
Yeah, probably.
wouldn't mean much at the end of the day. But yeah, now we are getting into it now. As you can see, the live on 3 has gone live, folks. So we can jump back into the map and take a look. Who's going to hold the advantage here going into it? It's a very divisive scoreline, as essentially if we do see Selfless taking control of the pistol here, then they can, assuming they don't get equal, of course, they can carry forward on to 13-5, which is, you know, pretty much an unwinnable scoreline for compLexity at that point, unless they come out huge in the gun rounds here. But if compLexity win it, and same for them, then getting up to 8-10, we're right back into a close match. Let's take a look and see what Selfless are going to have to offer us now, as they do push forward pretty quickly over here through the mid-connector up to Suicide. Slemmy's going to hear all this, obviously, so he just smokes it back off and pretty much denies them. And that'll put a complete halt on the Selfless push right over here at the edge of A-Long. They're getting ready to move the bomb and everything into it, but maybe some secondary plans are going to have to come in because of that. And as well. Oh, nicely found on an Android there. Just hits the bang and headshot to destroy Android. There are 2 more inside of drop, however, so him reaggressing, if he decides to go for it, may not prove to be the smartest idea. It was a trap set up to try and prevent Selfless from trying to do some sort of a drop split, but now it may bite back against them since they still only have those 2 players focused on the A site with a lot more pressure about to broil out from both the platform and possibly A-Long in a second here, once Selfless do decide to reaggress in that direction. Still no huge amount of movement coming in here from really either team. Try and scout this out. Selfless remaining really quiet and playing this really slowly after they started it off, going basically full speed out towards A-Long. And we can see both of them now getting ready to try and defend things as Caboose leads the charge on A-Long. He does spot Slemmy sitting in the back there, but he also gets tagged quite a bit because of that. Surreal tries to help out, gets knocked out. Slemmy and Death, though, both picking up kills at the exact same time. Trade it back, and Slemmy again with a beautiful pickup on his pistol, forced to reload, but his teammates should have him covered a little bit here. Having to, excuse me, battle it out a bit, but then Dizzy and Nifty trading things back, put this down to a 1v2, with Desi being the one to have to clutch things for compLexity. There's only 6 seconds left to put the bomb down, and Dizzy is going to succeed in doing it, but will he be able to get behind cover in time? He will. He jumps up on top, though, and that just chips him away to Desi as he closes out beautifully and lets compLexity pick up the pistol.
Yeah, one of the things about Slemmy, believe it or not, his pistol is absurd. His P250 especially is so good.
And we saw a good glimpse of that there in the pistol round, too.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even have armor. Still able to get 2 kills in a tight spot. That kill, that guy pushing up Broken Wall was pretty insane.
Not an aggressive response that'll be coming in from Selfless because they do manage to get the bomb plant on the ground. So it's P250ing this time. Probably going to be a pretty direct push with all 5 towards A's here in a moment. They're trying to, at the very least, get themselves a second play, but I don't really do see the smoke or something else following that up. Molotov gets in their way, and oh, now it's going to be Slemmy just picking up a massive round of frag. Survives the encounter with just a single health point, but it's enough, as no one from Selfless decides to follow through on Suicide or anything like that, so he's going to be able to escape, and the last 2 will have to try and make something happen.
And because they got the bomb down, they will buy that 3rd round, so they just kept P250s. And now certainly Depp is going to hunt.
Yeah, already creeping his way out. Dizzy is watching for a flank, but it's only tentatively, as he has to work with...
Never seen Depp fall back. What is going on? My world has been shattered.
Now, Desi as well, patiently waiting. He gets himself the spot onto Caboose. Dinged a little bit, however, but his teammates are on the way, so he can just sit back and play passively. Just looking for Dizzy now, hiding in the little cubby here at the edge of the platform push. And they all look around, but yeah, Selfless not going to be able to battle back here just yet, so it's looking like compLexity will be able to get themselves right back into this match, and well, we're going to go right into the gun round here. Selfless go for the 3rd round bye.
It's almost full SMGs. No, Slimmy buys an AWP for Surreal. I actually like this play a lot. I think the 3rd round AWP, when you know they're going to buy, you know they're not going to have an AWP. It makes it so easy to make it 4v5. Well, not so easy, but it makes it, you know, not knowing that you're not going to go against an AWP can allow you to be a lot more aggressive.
We can immediately see that from Surreal. However, the initial shot misses, and now they know that there's a presence from it in here in the mid connector. So he'll have to fall back from that pretty quickly and fails to pick up that 4v5 advantage that was just mentioned. The rest of Selfless, however, not trying to make a move just yet, as compLexity did use quite a bit of their own utility in terms of these smokes, Molotovs, and flashbangs at the very beginning to try and push Selfless back. So a boost up here with Caboose being on the top of it, watching to make sure that no one from Cole pushes all the way onto the backside here. And we do have another smoke being reapplied into the doorway that'll cover things off. They can boost on top of that again, however. But what they're not going to be able to spot is just how close Def got to the corner here. Now, while they may expect something, Boost won't spot it anytime soon, and they will kind of have to wait out and hope that on the check, when the smoke fades, that they can hopefully counter that back out. Elsewhere, as actually, no, we are going to see Caboose going for that, and he does pre-check it, but Def still gets the kill, and Caboose, unfortunately, doesn't hit any shots at all. So now Nifty's just waiting here to see if Def is going to end up following through, going all the way inside of the B-halls themselves, just swinging out slowly here. He spots Def, and he even dinks him down to 2 HP. Doesn't get the kill, though. Nifty is able to actually successfully trade, and now Surreal will find himself in the action here on the AWP. He's found CJ pushing his way back up. Android trying to help out as well, but he does get smoked to the main doorway, giving the guys from Selfless a path to push their way up. They will also have to deal with Slemmy in the alleyway. There's really no clean way to get themselves up on the platform right now, and because of that, they'll freeze themselves over here at this wall. Not really feeling confident to push past it. They do decide to finally just kind of go for it here, but it's not going to work out too great. Dizzy, the only player that's able to trade out any frags at all in this push, is now down at 20 HP with a 1v2 set against him, and misses the ball on Desi, working his way out from the doorway there, who will finish things off and knock him out.
Yeah, so that 3rd round is a huge pickup for compLexity, and it seems like this CT side of Cbble is both teams, you know, favored side. As compLexity just picks up 3-0 right now, putting Selfless on a save, full P250s and just a smoke and a flash. Surreal is going to be opping A, and Slemmy's their, you know, long A player. Double nade comes out to drop.
Oh, and it actually gets 2 players off of 1 nade too. And look at this, just destroys Selfless.
Wow.
A fast attempt to get drop control, doesn't go anywhere at all. And that is a super clean round for compLexity off of that beautiful nade play. And obviously, Selfless not finding a whole lot of success there, so they just go right into it. And yeah, we can see it. There's the first one, and the second one, after slowing the initial 2 down, they got hit by it. Just completely knocks them out of the match. And, well, they're ready. It's not a really overwhelming play to send just 2 players over drop anymore after that one. And the guys that were positioned inside of it are able to very easily handle that. Back into the gun round, however, now for Selfless. And they will split up very early on, so once again, you can expect a slow play from these Ts as they try to set something up for later on in the round, somewhere between the 30 and 40-second mark for an execution.
Boost just holding for any type of a push, but it looks like they're going to take B plat control again. They did this before, and it worked out well, so they throw the molly, but this time Caboose is boosted, so it's going to be a very different look.
Surreal, oh, spotting the first one there on the ZQK, but the Nifty's able to trade it, bringing him back down. That opens up the alleyway over on A-Long for them to try and push their way up towards the site. But still, most of the Selfless players are positioned over here on B, and I think Desi just reconfirmed their presence with spotting the up here. So firing off some shots and just trying to make sure that he himself doesn't get picked off from a random angle. He does spot Caboose there on the left side. He's able to re-peek, punishing that one. Daisy's going to try to move back up. The flashbang at Dizzy perfectly, but he was still too close to the wall for Desi to be able to take him down in time. So he falls back, changing of his own position, attempts to molly it out, but Dizzy's long gone. He's already fallen way back into these B halls here. The damage being done, however, in the 4v3, and compLexity is playing it with a full 3 players on the site as they have not spotted any additional aggression towards that A site. And Slemmy will be the one to call back out for it here. So drop pressure going to work its way in. All 3 will commit to it. And they'll split it 2 for 1. Sending Dizzy out the other direction. CJ finding Def at the very least, and well, that opens up a pathway for them to try and push back out. Android's able to counter Dizzy in the other direction, so they have to go for A here now. Slemmy's ready for it, though, getting one. CJ on the trade off of that, maybe able to get himself the plant at the very least, and actually, no, he hopes in that pushing back out that both of the complexity players had already rotated into the site connector, but he overcompensates that a bit, as unfortunately Desi was a bit behind, but that works out great for Desi, as he just able to hold out, let the timer run out, and they win the round off of that.
Yeah, just the 3-down drop play is pretty unusual to see in that situation. Android did a good job of recognizing what was happening, though. And just, you know, flipping around, killing those guys. I don't know. With that little time, how do you react to that, right? There's like 20 seconds left, 3 guys go down drop. And as soon as you know what their play is as a CT, it's just so... Like, if they went B, Desi would multi-frag. If they go A, Slemmy's going to stop the plant like that every time. And, well, normally probably get even more than one. So,
well, for compLexity here now having to tie and possibly going to be able to get the lead off of this round. However, Nifty started off strong by being able to get the yaw back in his hands thanks to CJ still saving at the very least at the end of that last round here. Now Caboose going for a slow creep up over towards the broken wall, but does not follow it through. And Slemmy, a very aggressive position inside of the mid connector there, but doesn't work out too badly. He kills ZQK, dinks Nifty, bringing him down to 10 HP. Surreal spots the broken wall pressure. The bomb still being positioned inside of here, but really compLexity not being able to commit towards either site fully just yet, as it could really go either way due to that mid aggression they spotted previously. So having to just play a bit of a waiting game here, and actually, never mind, Def's going on an info finding mission, having positioned himself up on this top box. They'll try to give them as early of a warning as possible when they do finally push themselves out into this position, and they counter Nifty out. Nobody's checking that bat box at all, so it's a free peek for Def to be able to find Dizzy. The other two are going to wrap back in through drop here, and CJ's found from the backside also by Def. Now it leaves Caboose alone. All he's got is a Tech 9, and again, 20 seconds to somehow try and either get that bomb onto the ground or clutch out with these last 3 kills. He's brought to 10 HP, goes to the plant, doesn't stick it in an attempt of at the very least taking down Def, but won't happen. compLexity win it out and now take the lead away from Selfless.
yeah, and I think they're 6-0 so far this half. So Selfless not able to do anything so far on their T side. Despite Nifty, you know, he's definitely been doing work. I mean, he's stood out in the server as the best player in my opinion. Making it 4v5, kind of just not missing, having some nice pistol kills too. But despite that, I mean, Selfless as a whole just seems like a mess.
Selfless pushing out, trying to go for just a direct B play this time, and not even using drop at all. Everyone is out on the platform. Molotov held it back for a moment, but they're going to go for this right now. The problem is compLexity. Look, they've already got 4 players in the site too. Def, Android, immediately knocking it out, and that was the bomb as well. Another one trying to push their way back in. They still haven't spotted Desi down below, hiding in the corner, the usual spot where the players try to hide out at. And Dizzy, he's also found out, so it's a complete shutdown. compLexity, again, pummeling Selfless' entire attempt to get onto that site, and they don't even get close.
I mean, they were set up great there. Android taking contact, Desi right underneath. I mean, had Android only killed 1, Desi probably gets 2 or 3 there. So, again, I mean, Selfless just they just kind of tried to force it at B, but they've been trying to go slow, they've been trying to go quick, just getting stomped every round.
Now they're back onto the half by here, so into the arduous process once again. Selfless just not having the capability to really form up a coherent strat, it seems, on this T side. Is again, it's all 5 together, trying to rush back in, but Surreal's going to see that, so he'll call for assistance after he gets flashed back out, sees the rush. Slemmy's able to tag him for a 2nd kill. He tags in for a 3rd. Finally a trade, and the 2nd one too. Dizzy actually holds his ground quite well, but the problem is spinning around for that one. Kills Android as well, so some trick shots, it seems, from Dizzy here now as they put it back down to a 2v2, and he's got the read of where these last two are going to try to move out from. He moves away from it, however. It does give them the room they need to try and push back out. Thankfully, compLexity are smart. They don't just go directly out, since that op is still very well alive, and Dizzy at the moment, he's banging out some shots, so you don't want to challenge that one. He spots the barrel of Desi, knows the other one had pushed close up. Unfortunately, takes too long to get his op in hand, and Desi just goes right through to pick up the final 2 kills and secure another round for compLexity.
Yeah, Surreal just, you know, running through that smoke with an op. I think if he goes through that, he should probably pull out his pistol, like a P250 or something, to kind of fly out there. It kind of donates that op and almost makes it, you know, makes it a very real possibility that Dizzy could have clutched that round. Right there.
Yeah. And the third shot as well was pretty nice.
That wasn't a shot.
What is that? What is that?
Illuminati.
Is that a Spider-Man logo?
Westworld.
Actually, that's a little bit closer. Why is that in that box? That's weird. I've never actually noticed that before. Anyway. Selfless, once again, playing pretty much into your standard T-sided default here now. You can see full AKs except for Nifty, just the full-on buy coming out for Selfless at the moment, but we've yet to see a really creative strat from them that could actually trick compLexity and give them easy access to the site, or even just, you know, raw entry power. It's come out from a few of these players, maybe once or twice in this round, but it hasn't been enough to actually follow through. The problem is the rest of their teammates do end up getting traded a lot. This is good, though. The Molotovs in a drop will clear that back out. They'll obviously be aware of that presence, and it'll take them a few seconds to still go back in and really take control as they have to wait for their own Molotovs to fade, but it does give them access to it and prime position to try and start a sort of push out. And the other thing that they do have working in their favor is that these A rotates are still pretty far off. It's a full commitment from both Slemmy and Surreal into that A site with no one hanging out in the doorway. So if they find their entries without too many trades, then it's still going to be a little bit before they start to move back in. But now they've been alerted to it, so these A players are on the way, or at least one of them is. As they move out, CJ will be able to take down Death after a successful flashbang. Android able to trade onto it, but Dizzy with another one against Desi. Android still alive, though, ready to take duels in the cross, and for whatever reason, this isn't smoked off, so it's an open firing season for Android and Slemmy. And there you go, Surreal and Slemmy picking up a double kill at the end there, just completely shut out Selfless. They are completely destroying Selfless here on this second half, and just not really giving them any room to maneuver at all. This is still, I think, a straight streak from compLexity. I don't think Selfless won a single round on this half so far.
I mean, it was looking great. They had Android watching the A split. Depp gets caught out by one flashbang, dies. That should be an easy split onto B. They're just not able to get the kills or have the coordination with Molotovs and whatnot, you know, to really take the site in any type of an efficient manner.
While CJ is going to push himself forward along with a few of his other teammates here. Surreal is investigating downstairs into the connector, however, so he may get caught off guard slightly by this huge push that's about to work its way out through long. They've kept themselves really quiet, where normally you're going to see a bit more of an aggressive push comes in, but he gets the quick scope, and he got Dizzy jumping, so he's able to follow it through into the second, and then a no scope as well on a CJ. Oh my god, and then he hits ZQK as well. Surreal just goes off, and Caboose in drop. What's he going to do now? Absolutely nothing. He may be able to surprise, but I'm pretty sure Def just heard him dropping, so now he's waiting for him to pull back out. And there we go, he's found him. He'll get one kill, but then Desi's there for the trade.
Wow. This is a complete shutout.
It's just
10 in a row.
Look at this again. It's one. The mess up from the jump here takes him more than a moment to recover the gun. The third is a no-scope, and then this one's just insane. The slow-mo, as we see there, to finish things off on ZQK and single-handedly put down the A push. Now puts them up to round number 15. One more to go, and they have the map under their control. And Selfless, well, they're forcing into this one. They've got 2 AKs, but a Tech 9 and 2 UMPs on ZQK and Dizzy. Molotov just firebombs CJ out from his early position. They're not even going to be able to establish what they wanted to at the beginning of this round, as they're immediately going to get pushed back by compLexity's players as utility. And it's still going to turn itself more than likely into just direct B play here from Selfless. Everybody lined up for just a drop and platform push. compLexity also sit here ready for it. The only thing that they may have going for them, again, this happened on the previous round too, is that the rotations for May haven't necessarily caught onto this just yet, so they're going to be a bit off, but entry power needs to be here, and again, it's not to be seen from the start of it. The trades are so strong in the favor of compLexity, and it's already down to 1, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, compLexity 11-0. The second half there, flawless performance on their CT side, and because of that, they're going to destroy Selfless, run a huge comeback, and take control of this first map.
Wow. What was that, 11 rounds in a row?
I think it was 11 in a row,
Just
yeah.
Complete shutout.
Mm-hmm. So there you have it.
Let's see what Vendetta has to say about that one.
Yeah, and let's indeed bring the analysts into the conversation and see, you know, what happened to Selfless there. They just completely fell apart in the second half.
I mean, I don't know. My math is pretty bad, right? I'm from Alabama, but 11 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
Not one round was saw that day by Selfless.
Yeah, and if you go back to Eric's initial video on what Selfless needed to not do, like they played on Renegade, like they played versus Renegades on cbble, they kind of did the same thing right about now as well. It wasn't much of an improvement. So after I was starting to be a bit hopeful because they had a strong CT side.
Right.
Dave's mentioned Nifty. He was playing really well initially, being super active with the op, which is always nice to see. Moving about, taking different peaks from mid, getting boosted up into drop, taking peaks at B long as well. So just constantly being a momentum of worry really for compLexity.
I mean, just as you're saying it, right? Here's the storyline: 10-5 at half for Selfless.
Yeah.
You're thinking, okay,
Prime spot.
This is the time. Selfless are going to do it. This is going to be their second map win of the season. But lo and behold, Slim Dog Millionaire coming out guns a-blazing. Oh, and that Surreal guy hitting all those op shots definitely helps their cause.
Yeah.
100%. What happened here and what went right for compLexity on their CT side?
Well, for compLexity on the CT side, obviously it's big help that Selfless don't know how to play T side. that obviously makes your job a whole lot easier. And always you could tell that compLexity did have a much better grip of actually setting up crossfires for each other. They were flashing it. You also saw they had some smokes and Molotovs set up to actually push aggressively on B long, which you don't see too often with Def getting into the corner for the first Byron and so on. So they definitely have some aces up their sleeve that they can pull out, that they can rely on as well. Honestly, I think a lot of it is though made easier by the fact that Selfless T side is not a lot to write home about.
I mean, you said it very well there. Let's take a look now at round 11, though, when compLexity is able to step up the pace on their T side.
Yeah, because compLexity initially played extremely slow versus A, and one of the issues with that is that they knew that they were playing against an op setup, or an op and mag 7 setup in ZQK and Nifty. And one of the, less smart things you can do in that kind of a situation is have a slow pace towards it and try to take slow control, because it's so hard to do. Finally, in round 11, compLexity actually speed up the tempo a bit, and you can tell what that does. It catches Nifty off immediately, in position off of one flash, really, into mid, and allows them to get, mid control immediately. What I don't like about what happens afterwards is the fact that they get stuck in mid. They still have tons of opportunity to actually just push up on the site, get a bomb plant, and play the after plant. It's still going to end up in a round win for them, but the initial part of it is good, but still mid round is a bit iffy on compLexity's end, but still was enough to get a bit of a cushion to play with going into that second half.
Well, even in that second half, because obviously that's the blockbuster here.
Yeah.
What does it look like over for compLexity on their CT side towards that upper B area? I mean, what was actually working for them? Days talked about the triangle setup.
Yeah.
So elaborate on that.
Well, I mean, with the triangle setup, it's pretty much, I guess, an extended crossfire, right? Like that you set up, which allows you to, pinch in on or pincer in on players as they're jumping out on B long. And constantly constantly having the T's shift attention to you can never always drop down from broken wall, for instance, and expect someone to be only towards sidewalk. You're also gonna have to be worried about side coop or even further back on B stairs. Like just a basic setup, but if it's executed correctly, it's extremely strong. And that's really what compLexity had going for them, because they were setting up flashes for each other. So they weren't necessarily all peeking out at the same time, just wildly trying to get frags on their own. They were, one guy setting up flash, two guys peek. And when, they get the initial attention, the guy who initially threw the flash comes out again and, pounces on the advantage created by those others too. So, very nice and simply done by compLexity. And I think also one of the big issues that you have to also address is the fact that ZQK on the CT side, much easier job of actually being or having any sort of impact with 150 ping because you can play A-Halls with a Mag 7.
So you can hold those angles.
Yeah, exactly. T side, trying to check corners on cbble with 150 ping and having to control an AK, very different scenario.
Well, it could be a different scenario. We're about to go into the fourth and final map of the night. We're going into cash between compLexity and Selfless. We'll be right back after this break.